morning. Welcome to Investigative News. And usually you'd see William here at this hour, but tomorrow I got some tests done, and so I told William, we'll move you till tomorrow. So you've got William tomorrow for however long it's going to take for him to do his show. We have been banned. Yeah, Truth and News, and they banned us from 9 months ago. So if you find that our videos are shrinking, I am taking out videos um, pretty much as fast as I can so they can't go back and ban me and get rid of my channel because then we'd end up on the network. So if you are, I guess I need to get everything on this banner going. So if you are, see us on the Facebook, or you know that we have moved to the network, let everybody know that we are now on Investigator News Network. So that's where we're at, and we'll be here for a month and a half. Normally, they only ban you for 2 weeks on a second strike. For some reason, they hit me up till I think it's July 17th. And once I started taking videos out, they started saying, "Whoa, wait a minute now. I got it said, let's not be hasty. Let's take a look at what your community standards were." And everything that I tried to put on Facebook, they put back up and said they were sorry that they banned me for putting up Facebook posts. So I'm thinking, see, this is my idea of YouTube. Um, they are looking at my videos have got advertisement throughout them. Where you click to skip. Well, they have put advertisement in my videos, and when I take them out, I'm hurting them with advertisement. So, so be it. It's called, we tell the truth here. And they just don't like it, and they want to get rid of uh, Investigator News too. So that's why I created the network. So tell everybody to come on over here and share it. Share it with them that we have been banned due to YouTube searching my videos for something they can ban and take my channel out with. Yeah, so I'm excited. When I see it, I said, yes, we're doing something right. If they're going to give us a ban for a month and a half over something trivial, something very silly, and something very stupid. So we are back. I spent a little over a week in Tennessee, and I learned a lot about dementia, folks. I learned in between the difference between dementia and depression. And I see a lot of depression, and I see a little bit of dementia. So we're going to have to see how this works out um, as I go through it. And all of us have family members with dementia. We're going to get through this. You know, let me know. Let me know with Investigator News at yahoo.com, and let me know what you're going through. Evil reporters. Yeah. Yeah. So, let's get on with this news. I got some great stuff. So, the Mexican um, news outlet, and this is out of Mexico City, and all of it wasn't just one reporter. It was all of them with the mainstream media that said the cartels have rocket launchers now. And then today, there's even seeing them at the borders. And if you watch the last show we did, they're only doing it because they found out with drones that they have rocket launchers at our borders now. Um, and so Mexico is now warning us that these are illegal traffickers. They're potential terrorists because, according to Mexican news outlet, um, Milenio, the cartels at the border are armed with military grade equipment now, not just the launchers, but military grade equipment. Um, and they said they report that the video has surfaced on social media showing a person wearing a tactical vest and carrying an AK-47 and a rocket launcher. So, where did they get them from? And how are they marked? They're marked US. And we have traced it back to Ukraine. Remember, I've told my viewers so many times that any truck could pull up and they're just going to load weapons onto these trucks. We don't know where they're going, who they're selling them to, who they are. And when we have asked Ukraine to show us the data of, of where these things are going, they have refused. When we went to the Department of Justice, they refused. Why can't we know where these military equipment is going? And have they sold them? Is it Ukraine that sold them, or is it the Azov battalion? Is it other military men, or is it just people of Ukraine pulling up and wanting to make a little bit of money? Um, I'm going to say, William, this is something you can look at. I think William's in here. Um, William, kind of look into it for your show tomorrow and see what you can find out. Because this is very interesting now that we have training camps for ISIS. We have training camps for MS-13s and terrorism, that when they come over here, they can even have a safe zone in camps and I want to say it's like the LDS, where they have these compounds that they can go to, that they can be safe. Waco's another good example. I didn't. I never agreed with David Koresh, folks, because I knew his uncle, and his uncle told me things, and he, even his family didn't agree with what he did with the women, the kids, and not working with the federal government. So there's a lot to Waco that I know that a lot of my viewers don't, that they have watched these movies, and there's a lot more to this. It wasn't just he had a little bit of guns, and I don't want to. I really don't want to dabble into it without me and William doing a big show on this. Now, as far as there's a lot of stuff. Me and William doing a show on Greyhound. We will be doing that very soon. The pictures that I have of Bass Pro Shop, they'll be coming within a week or so, where I can tell you, Karen has seen them. They're beautiful pictures. And it was something I wanted to do and show you guys. And so you guys, if you want to go, if you're in Memphis and you're stuck for a few hours, or you're traveling to Memphis, and they even have a restaurant there at the pyramid. So I'll get a show on that going. But, I want to get into the world news and get back on track of our show. And so we see Chinese nationals stopped near sensitive Alaskan military base. Frightening, isn't it? They were in Alaska, and they stopped short of our military base in Alaska. Even with all the turmoil occurring with our southern border, it's important not to overlook what areas that China is going into. We hear about them going into our allies, or Africa, or Venezuela, but we have had what you say. So why is this weird? Well, because we had Russian fleet out pretty much in international waters in Alaska. Well, they moved out, and Alaska thought this was goodbye, good riddance. And lo and behold, here comes China. The 49th state admitted that the United States is nicknamed the last frontier, not only because its distance from the lower 48, but also the huge size and undeveloped wilderness that they're in. Even with the turmoil occurring along our nation's southern border, it is important not to overlook the potentially vulnerable areas in America. Now, we did have two planes that crashed into one another over DC, and I thought, what's going on? So I looked, and you know what the media came out with is our Air Force is weak. No, no, we're not. That William, doesn't that happen? You know, every once in a while you have an accident. They have been doing drills for years, and they have never had this happen. And then, lo and behold, out of the blue, we have two planes crash into each other. And everybody's like, ooh, it must mean something. What about they just crashed? What if something happened to where they just crashed? Does that mean we have a weak uh, Air Force? No, no, I don't think so. And these mainstream media that's claiming we're weak are wrong, because they also try to say our Navy is weak. Our Navy is so strong. That's what I am. See, Williams with me on this. Our Air Force is very strong. Our Army is very strong. They're ready. Um, so we are looking at uh, we're going to give a little bit to the military, but it all goes to Ukraine. It's not going to our military. And now they are replacing, William, I don't know if you knew this, they are replacing one of the commanders for the Navy for somebody they want. And what is wrong with who was in charge that had us so very strong? And who are they putting in? And is this person qualified for this position? More and more we see Joe Biden, he tripped. You see that? Did anybody see that this last weekend? He tripped. He said, "Oh, it was a sandbag. It was a sandbag." Well, where his foot is at, underneath him, with the other one stretched out, the one that is closest is the one that he tripped on. The sandbag is like 5 feet away. And now I'm hearing he could need a walker. Are we going to have a president with a walker? Even Roosevelt, it wasn't Roosevelt that was in the wheelchair, and they never showed him. But he was still able to run the country from his wheelchair. So why not? Don't put don't put Joe Biden with a walker on TV, because everybody's going to feel sorry for him, folks. I don't feel sorry for what he's done. Um, he was a racist in the 70s and 80s, and we can't have this. You know, uh, we can't have a racist president in office. And he never did change his mind. He was still like that in the 80s and 90s. So what happened in between when he was with the Obama administration and still saying there was a bunch of freaks working at the 7-Eleven, basically being very racist during the Obama administration. Uh, and it was funny, they said. Um, um, so I kind of want to go on with the F-16s, and that we've seen them crash. We have. Are we capable of sending troops to show? If we are so weak, why would we send troops to Ukraine to teach them to fly the F-16s if the media thinks we're not good enough? But we're good enough to send them to planes and people that know how to fly them. And come to find out, part of the money that is now had been lost but now found is to put our troops in Ukraine. And now even more, they're poking. They got a bigger stick now. Um, NATO has got a bigger stick, and they're poking Putin with it and saying, go ahead, nuke us." And Putin has refrained from this. Now we have what Taiwan is reported, that um, China is now playing chicken, and they're getting really close. Now, what my reporters are saying, they're bumping boats. And so if they're bumping U.S. boats and our allies, how long is it going to be before someone says no and they bump them and they fire upon them? This is only a, a way for China. If they bump our boats, they might shoot. We might shoot, and then the war is on, which is what my reporter says, is this is a way for China to tell the United States, we're ready. We are ready. And when they do it to the allies and they don't respond, according to what they're saying, we're ready, and you make the first shot. Well, they're bumping boats. You know, I was all for being on the bumper cars, but bumping boats to get them to get into World War III, I think we even the United States is now thinking backing up and trying to find out. Now we've had Lloyd Austin, Blinken, and a few others that's trying to get an appointment with ambassadors and even Jinping himself. And he's refused. They have refused. They are telling everybody that is in the top bracket of the Biden administration, they're saying, no, we don't want to talk to you. Wow. And that's something. All right. So, new documents. Epstein tried to send a letter to a high profile official from prison. Even with the turmoil of what we were seeing, let me make sure I got this. And this was before his death. He was sentenced to 20 years. And he tried to send messages to Miss Maxwell, but also by trying to send something to the Associated Press regarding his 36 days in jail, but who's who on the list and who would hurt the most with what they have done to him to get him arrested, to keep him quiet. Now, he was so loose, folks, that the girls coming out were whistleblowers. And when they started turning Epstein over, then they had to come forward with these girls. So, one was Nassar, formerly a team doctor for U.S. gymnastics team. He was found guilty of sexually abusing numerous U.S. athletes. And one of these athletes was on Epstein Island. So she not only turned their coach in, but then she turned in what was going on at the island, that this was one big sex trafficking ring with not only just Epstein, but many more. And so that's what she sent. So it'll be interesting over the next few weeks to see what happens with this. I mean, he's dead, so what can we do? You know, I looked into it and I looked into laws. If he's not alive, there's not much we can do but shut down Epstein Island. But maybe one of the higher officials can easily put another one up and continue it. So, you know, so I'm going to keep my eyes open and see what's up. Hillary Clinton gave over $300,000 to a extremist group who now what does this extremist group do? They're the ones that's tearing up all the art, you know, throwing stuff on the art, or scratching, tearing up, destroying. Well, come to find out, Hillary Clinton was the one that backed them and paid them to do this. Why? What is it about our art that they don't like with climate change? So you could see the climate change started in 1992 when they went in office. And it wasn't that they didn't want us to eat meat or milk the cows. It was more of the power. And that's what we're seeing because even AOC now, folks, has got a bigger green deal than we've ever seen. And she's talking 50 to $100 trillion for it. And when you look into it, it's not a program. It's people and opening office that about 100,000 workers can take those jobs. Do they know what they're doing? No, no. Uh, so, so we're looking at Hillary Clinton now jumping into the Green New Deal to get trillions of dollars working with the Democrat liberals in Congress and Senate to pass what she wants to pass. Well, I hope I got that. Well, that was a mouthful. All right, so Bragg, yeah, Bragg is a part of going after Trump. Well, a detective involved in the Trump case, uh, they found a suspect. They're going to go ahead and arrest for this that had given false information to not only the detectives but to Bragg himself. So now he is become wanting to become a whistleblower to give the truth. So now they've subpoenaed him to be able to come in and talk to him. Um, um, Fentanyl. And this one here, it really concerns me because when I seen the article on this, I was wondering why they're saying this. Most Americans unaware they're ingesting fentanyl daily. The migrant crisis has carried with it several uh, thousands of pounds of fentanyl, and it's terrifying because it's increasing with a lot of those that have given up heroin. Heroin's not working no more, and they say it always leads to harder drugs. Well, they start off and they're doing weed and they're doing the pills, the speed. Then all of a sudden they're with marijuana, they're drinking, and now trying to get cocaine uh, brought into them. And more, it just progressed. So now we're looking at fentanyl, and they're saying there is enough of it. More than 80% of New Yorkers who injected drugs test positive for this, despite only 18% reported using the drug fentanyl. So 80% have tested positive, and when they ask them, well, we have got you with fentanyl. Now you need to hand it over. So then we're only looking at 18% that's saying, oh, I didn't do it. Oh, yeah, here it is. More than 100,000 people died over fentanyl. And they're saying it was due to them saying there's nothing in there and they could use this. The medications is big. They're big time medications. It's not just they are looking at ways to get people to do fentanyl, they're putting it in drugs that they sell cheaper on the black market. And so many people do that because they just don't have the money to pay for their prescription drugs. Um, Um, Now the Irish government, and this really surprised me when I seen it, and it was on the back page of PJ News. The Irish government wants to spend 600 million to sacrifice cows for climate change, and so they really think that if we get rid of all the cars, all the cows, and all of that, that really climate change is going to go away when it's been proven now. And I've showed this on my um, weather show that with the earthquakes, since the veins are running all throughout the world, they're warming up the planet, they're warming up the oceans, which means this climate change could be a farce. I'm not saying it's a farce. I'm just kind of giving you guys a rundown of what we're seeing. And when you got 80 to 90% of volcanoes that are active right now, it will warm the planet up. It will change our storms to an El Nino or La Nina, where we'll see the fiercest storms ever. When you play with them, when you play with hurricane, you're asking to be bit. And it saddens me to know that what we seen going through the gates was so very beautiful, and everything they have for kids is very beautiful. But man, I hate to do this. Um, we had some Venezuelans move into our neighborhood, and they are migrants. I don't know how they're paying for things, but there's um, two male adults, a female, and about five little kids. Well, they're going into other people's yards, and what I heard was community toys. So if you have your stuff laying out for your grandkids, they think this is community toys. They have uh, we didn't give the migrants the law when they came into our country. We didn't give them the laws to tell them, no, you can't take that. And when I went over and talked to the lady, she said, oh, well, they're letting me, they're friends. And I said, how come you haven't been over there before to play? And she said, because they're never home. Well, these people are always home. They haven't been last few days, but I do plan on letting them know. So, um, you could see that. Granted, the kids see toys and they want to play. Um, so, do we let them? Do you let the migrants, a whole family, and a 3-year old, and maybe a 5 or 6 year old, starts taking all the toys that's meant for your grandkids? Do you stop them or do you let them? Let me know in the comments, folks. All right, I'm gonna move on. Boy, time's going quick. I'm so glad to be back, and I want to get this news out. Um, Democrats uh, documented evidence that um, J6. But see, we knew that because if you guys have watched me and or you've watched any conservative news outlets, we know that they put things in, they put music to it, they made it look really bad. Um, and we see that when we look on the other side, they Waffle House, I believe, is the one that supports it. A few others that you can go in and get your patriots, but they're talking on enough is enough with this J6. And we know what Pelosi did, and but they never did bring it up. And what gets me, the GOP isn't bringing it up either. And what am I talking about? Is they called her and said, we got National Guard fixing to come in. She said, oh, no, no, no. We don't need that. Well, they were going to beef up the Capitol Police. No, she didn't want that either. Why? And then all of a sudden, because they're wandering around in circles looking and they're taking selfies and um, they were terrorists. Oh, yeah. When we have Antifa starting and gathering and burning and everything that my sister Peg had done is now being brought out that they are considered terrorists because of what they had classified each one of these terrorists to be. Utah district bans the Bible form of elementary and middle schools. I'm sorry, middle schools. So Utah, uh, and I went and looked, and yes, it's a Democrat. Why? Why are they going to ban anything that has Christian on it? They don't even have to teach it. It's the article, and then it's sent to me, it's sent to my brother, or it's sent to my sister Beth. And now we're hearing that now it doesn't matter because we're all the rest of us are good swimmers. They brought them to the surface and they took them down to get back on the boat, and one of them did pass away. Um, and this is sad, so sad. Um, to find a shoe and nothing else, and then you find them on a deserted island. All right, so we're going to move on. Um, hmm, hmm. Okay, well, I've got stuff stored and I can't find it. So I'm going to move on to, I'm doing PJ News right now to really find out what's going on. And when I click on something that has nothing to do with it, it does bring in my um, Homer and his wife and the salami. So 7, 8, and then I have a 9. So we're looking at salami being served as a meal only if she doesn't interfere. Um, all right, I'm going to move on. Um, um, and let's go back to the code enforcement because this happened to me. And I worry when I let the kids stay out there any length of time, or when I see COPA, the code enforcement. I say, come on back, time to come in the house. I don't make a big deal out of it, but they have got this beautiful fireplace. And when you look up, you can see stairways that go up, and you can go all the way to the top and you can see 3 states from their lookout. It's just beautiful. So I will have some info on that in the days to come. Um, and Sharon, she even sent me a lot of stuff, and me and her talked about it. Me and Brendy talked about it. That it is time that we put very little in the pan and cook them eggs for tonight. So, all right, I'm going to move on. Boy, I'm getting off track, but I'm having a good time tonight. All right, so video of China drilling a 32,000 foot hole into the Earth's crust. And when it isn't just we hear about this of we drill into oil for resources. They're going to the deepest, and they found one, and they're going to drill an additional 32,000 feet to go into the Earth's core. Now, there is no explanation for it. It's Jinping doing this. Um, so we have to wonder what he's doing. Also, we found out that not only that us, the United States, but China was even thinking about setting off nuclears on the moon. Now, China defense minister says um, a war with the United States would be unbearable um, because they think they would wipe us out. And when they looked at Obama, and they did, I don't know if they have talked to the ambassadors with Obama, um, um, but Obama, his top aides are saying that uh, we have looked now at trying to talk to them. They're refusing. We have tried our ambassadors. They're refusing. We have tried even aides or senators, and Jinping is refusing to speak to us. And they said that this would be unbearable because now with no conversation between the two, we are now looking at um, a war with no way of looking at a ceasefire or even a peaceful resolution at this point. And so this not only is Blinken, but Lloyd and Milley are now saying that we are looking at something that is going to be unbearable to even deal with because they are just going to move into Taiwan. When? We don't know. Now, according to Taiwan, it could be any day because of them bumping ships. So when they're bumping ships, folks, they're trying to start something. William Boyd, we really do need to take a look at this and see why, if they're trying to cause it, or that's what I think. They're bumping our boats and they're playing chicken. At one point, they had the China Seas blocked. Now, and they have blocked the strait with Taiwan. They have blocked the South China Seas. They have even went as far as now we learned today, even Alaska. And they are sitting so close to shore like they own Alaska. Now, it wasn't even, China hasn't even mentioned that. It was Russia that said they would like to take Alaska back. And all of a sudden, we've seen the Russian ships. Now, the Russian ships have moved out. Now, China has. So, this is, we are looking at a whole new phase of war to where we're just waiting. And over last week, being in Tennessee, I kept watching the news, and the U.S. said we're ready for war. China says we're ready for war. Now we're looking at them bumping boats, saying, "Come on," and nothing is. We're not responding. Now let's take a look at Israel because um, Biden said Israel is wrong for attacking Iran. Iran is attacking Israel, and when Israel protects itself, we have this administration saying you're wrong for doing that. And but then we have most of the Middle East saying it's up to Israel to take out Iran. Now, Iran has been selling missiles all over the world. Not only do we see that with um, um, Zelensky in the black market selling military equipment, but we now have Iran selling nuclears to third world countries. So, who all of us around the globe will all have these nuclear weapons. And so, who shoots first? Libya could have them. I'm going to say, just go through the whole Afghanistan. Taliban could have them. We could be looking at um, China off the coast of Alaska having them. Not only that, but even Kim Jong Un says he's got enough that now he's ready for war. And if we decide that we're going to sanction him, one too many sanctions could start this. So this is World War III, and that's why me and William does our shows on Wednesday to show you that we are so close, or are we in it with weather wars? Is HARP, earthquakes, volcanoes, the nuclears, the weapons being sold? Everybody, I keep hearing Klaus Schwab say everybody has to be equal. Are we giving every country the same amount of power to make it equal? And that's something I'm looking into because I don't want to be equal with Yemen or Libya. They shouldn't have what we have. Egypt or even Iran and North Korea. None of them should have equal amount of what we have. And I'm hearing militarily, Klaus Schwab and those in NATO are saying it needs to be equal power, equal to where it's a fair fight. Uh, no, it's called we have more to keep them from even thinking about a war with us. That's how it was. Now we're moving in a new direction to where Klaus Schwab and NATO is coming up with a new war. And so, let's not equal it. Let's keep putting more more into our defense. Now, with this deal that they just made, I hear Senator Graham coming out saying, "Yeah, we need to send billions to Ukraine." What about building up our defense with all of just what I told you? Shouldn't Senator Graham be worried that we are looking at a huge war, not with just China, but it could be Iran or it could be North Korea. But they're not even mentioning this. This is where I have seen that the people put into place don't know how to do their jobs. And Millie and Lloyd, I haven't looked into them, but when we had Schwarzkopf and Powell, they were ready to go to war for us, and they were ready to use the power they had to stop everybody. What we have right now with generals, there's like, well, let's give them a hug and see if they won't shoot a nuclear weapon at us. And that's all I'm hearing. And now um, we have Iran ready to eliminate uh, Israel with dozens. They say dozens at a time will be sent to Israel. Can Israel block all of them? Now, I don't think they can do all, but they can do a good portion of it. But then where's our stance with Israel when we have been an ally? Or do we let Iran try to take out Israel? And even Egypt sent the message that said, Israel, you need to take out um, Iran. And then even our own Congress and senators have said the same thing. Then Israel, go get them, take them out. Don't let them do this. We need allies in NATO and all of that for Iraq, Ukraine to go after Russia. We need all of the allies to protect Taiwan. Why are we not sending allies or anything to help Israel keep Iran in check? It's because just a few years ago, if y'all remember right, we were sending pallets of money to Iran. So why would we take the side of Israel? And now, just today, reading what I seen with Biden, he isn't really an ally of Israel. This would be almost the first time in history that a president didn't back Israel. And this is very concerning to even Netanyahu. And not only that, but now we're looking at close to 90 strikes on our bases in Syria. And we've only struck out 3 times. So they keep bombing and bombing and bombing 90 times, close to 90 times. And we only said, we're going to go after you 3 times. And they said that they, as in Iran, said they're going to eliminate our bases in Syria until we leave. No, we're going to put more up, according to this administration. We're sending more troops and to reopen bases we have in Syria, but not only that, now in Iraq, to be able to fight Iran. So is this going to be another proxy war, or is this going to be another big war that we're going to insert ourselves into and use up the what we have stored? And what we have stored is hardly anything. I mean, there is no ammunition at this point. So are they replenishing it? No. I think they're just pulling everything off shelves, is what this gentleman at the Bass Pro Shop, he said, it is so hard to get ammunition because anything that's the same caliber as an AR-15, all that is disappearing. And he said, to a certain point, you can understand it, but if there is nothing being creative or made for ammunition, we're almost sitting ducks. Um, what weakness always leads to war, and the wolf is always at the door, is what William said. William Boy, I might be giving you some good ideas for tomorrow. Um, California educational leaders push CRT lessons that praise um, um, Osama bin Laden. Remember, I said they're trying to change our history books? Well, what they want to do is bring in Muslim uh, teachings and their social media to where they say that what Osama bin Laden was a part of was okay. And whether he was part of 9/11, that's okay because he was mad. And he had a right under the freedom of, under um, the freedom of speech that he was able to go, and if he was behind the twin towers in 9/11, he had a right to lower to crash planes into them because his beliefs, and this is okay. So now we're going to start teaching this in school to where Osama bin Laden wasn't really the bad guy, and neither were these people that ran into the planes. They were just trying to express Muslim religions. Wow. I mean, think about that. Boy, I got some good stuff today. All right, even eggs. Kim Jong Un, uh, balloons past 300 pounds, and they don't know why. He has gained so much weight that now the doctors are looking at him, asking him his what his food consumption is. And supposedly he has been dieting for about 5 years, but now he's over 300 pounds, and the doctors don't know how to stop it. Well, I don't care. He could be away that much as long as he keeps his nuclear weapons to himself. Um, um, I'll have to look at this one. All right, let me take a look here. I don't remember this one. I've read them all. Um, they are two Israeli domestic issues. Judiciary, they say, have created a rift between the U.S. and Israel. Now, Netanyahu coalition is working to rope in what it argues is excessive power of opponents like the United States, but mainly Joe Biden, that he has had other GOP and moderate Democrats come and talk to him, saying they are uh, uh, progressively, aggressively trying to get Joe Biden to help and be an ally to Israel. And so this kind of goes along with what I was saying. And it was one of my last articles. Um, I think I still have a few more that I wanted to go over real quick. Um, so we got a lot going on with is the United States going to be an ally of Israel, or are we going to be an ally of Iran? Now, I think it's going to come out within the next few years that um, it's not the United States, the voters, or the GOP. It's a certain uh, individuals that's part of the party that's going to support this. And we see this with Mexico, um, where we have um, those in Mexico that have worked with the United States on the border and some that haven't. And now, get this, and talking Mexico, according to what Kamala Harris is telling the people in her office, is that these migrants will replace us. They will vote for them. They will love them. They're going to give them all the money, food stamps, everything they want, and our jobs. But they have to vote for them. And more we're seeing the migrants coming through and getting settled, saying that no, because of what they went through and found out there's nothing there. They weren't that they were promised. They might not even vote for the Democrats. It could be the GOP. So what they're doing now is, um, I can't say his name, Papa George, has been sending a lot of the foundations down to South America, Africa, all of them. Anything where China could get into our country, they're sending these people to talk to them and say, well, if you vote for us, then we will give you this, but we'll fly you in and you'll be special. That's where these migrants are coming in on the planes into our country. That's who they are. And I learned a lot when I did that Greyhound trip, folks, on talking to the migrants, but also the ones that I'm talking to down the street. They speak very little English, but they're letting me know with the promises. And they said they had been here for about 2 years, and they said everything that was promised to them, they don't have. And when they try to get a job with very little English, they're not getting the jobs like they were promised. Um, even if they have to teach them manufacturing, where they have to put, they get the item, they got to do it, and they send it, they still have to be taught in their own language. So, all right, folks, that is it. Please share and like. And I know I cut it short early tonight. We got William tomorrow. He will be on his own. He's a free Willie tomorrow. And if you didn't catch the funny post, and everybody, I've been, not everybody, I've had people give me a call and say, what happened to the funny post for 2 weeks? Well, I did post it before our show, and I'm going to continue to do it this way because it's the only way they can't block me and doing my funny posts. So they will be in front of Justice for All every week until we get our channel back. And I've had quite a few say, well, aren't you mad? I was like, no, I'm kind of happy because I know I'm doing something right. And here at Investigator News, it's the truth. And they can't handle the truth. So, all right, hit the subscribe and like button and the thumbs up. Hit follow over in Facebook. And just a reminder, I am taking videos out. And if you want to watch some of the earlier ones, get on Facebook and watch them. All right. I want to thank Linda and Susan for being here tonight. But happy birthday to Karen. And we're going to send her something special. I promise, Karen. I keep calling you Linda. Karen, I found a box. It's ready to go. Send me your address and we'll get this stuff going. And it's going to make her life a little easier. A happy birthday to Karen. So make sure you send her a happy birthday. She deserves a lot. She deserves a lot, and a lot of thank yous and a lot of hugs and a lot of we appreciate you. All right. So with that, I will see everyone tomorrow, but I'll be off the side. Uh, William will be in here, and then Wednesday we are back to the weather and lifestyle news. And we'll get through this week. And then next week we'll all be normal again, unless I find a way to mess it up. Yeah. All right. So we will see you tomorrow. And come on back for William's show.